In Kamuga, the day began with silence, the kind that weighs heavier than grief. Beneath a sky too bright for mourning, they lowered a man whose name the earth already knew. Women wailed, men bowed, and children watched, their eyes wide with questions the elders dared not answer. Then she came, a stranger wrapped in dust and calm, a small bundle in her hands, a storm hidden in her gaze. When her shadow touched the grave, whispers rose like smoke. The wind shifted, and the village felt it. The past had just returned home. Night fell gently on Kamuga, painting the stranger's hut in silver and shadow. She unwrapped her bundle, a torn photograph, a broken necklace, and a name whispered like prayer. Amina. Some said she came to mourn, others swore she came to claim. But when a child burned with sudden fever and her touch cooled his cries, the murmurs turned into fear. She heals, they said, but at what cost? In her eyes lingered both sorrow and promise, as if she carried a story older than her breath. And by dawn, Kamuga knew. This stranger was not passing through. She had come to awaken something the village buried long ago. Dawn broke, but peace did not come. The village woke to rumors, sharp as thorns, carried from hut to hut. The fever was her doing, they whispered. She has the mark. In the market, eyes turned heavy. Old names resurfaced. Akello, Ogola, names tied to a story everyone pretended to forget. A chicken found dead on a doorstep, a child scream in the night, and fear grew legs. When the broken necklace was recognized as belonging to the man they'd buried, silence fell like judgment. The wind rose again, carrying the scent of rain and reckoning. The curse, they said, had returned to Kamuga, wearing a woman's face. Whispers beneath the floor. Wind hums through cracks in a hut, faint rattling of wood. That night, the husband couldn't sleep. Every creak beneath the floor sounded like a voice calling his name. When he finally lifted the mat, he found what the earth had tried to keep. A small bundle of bones and ash, wrapped in an old confession. I tried to bury it. By morning, the news had wings. The village gathered, fingers pointing, hearts pounding. The stranger stood still, her silence louder than their shouts. Beneath her feet, the soil seemed to breathe, as if the dead themselves had turned to listen. Kamuga's ground was no longer sleeping. It had begun to speak. The rains came gentle that season, as if the sky pitied Kamuga. Fields that once drank only sorrow now shimmered with new green. There, between the rows, the stranger worked beside a farmer. A man quiet, strong, with eyes that spoke more than words. They shared water, shared silence, and in that silence something tender grew, a small defiance against the fear. But love in Kamuga is never born without witness. Behind smiling faces, whispers coiled. He labors with the cursed one, they said. He too will pay. Still, under the burning sun, their hands met, and for a heartbeat, the village forgot its hate. In the chief's hut, power had a smell of smoke, sweat, and fear. He sat before an old gourd, the one his father left him, filled with charms and secrets best forgotten. The village slips, he murmured. Faith weakens when truth walks free. So he reached for the oldest trick, fear. That night, a charm was planted, hidden near the stranger's door. By dawn, the whispers had become law. She carries the shadow. But even shadows have owners, and truth, once buried, begins to claw its way to light. For in Kamuga, lies never sleep. They wait. The sun rose red that morning, the kind of red that warns of endings. In the village square, a stool waited. The chief stood tall, his voice heavy with false holiness. We gather, he said, to cleanse the land of its curse. But the crowd's eyes told another story, some of doubt, others of shame. The stranger did not kneel. Her gaze met the chief's and something in him trembled. A child cried out. It wasn't her. I saw who came in the night. The torches flickered, the truth cracked the silence open, and Kamuga's power began to shake. That day, the trial judged more than one soul.